Despite all the cameras and sensors, the ABS system is one of the most important vehicle safety systems. The system prevents the wheels from locking up, thus increasing their braking performance and allowing you to steer under hard braking. The system has a lot of different components that work together, and at the center of everything is the ABS module. The first symptom of a failed ABS module is an ABS warning light and the front wheels locking up under hard braking. A firm brake pedal goes along with those symptoms. If the ABS module is only starting to fail, you will notice that ABS is triggering way too soon, or that the brakes are unresponsive. What are the symptoms of a bad ABS module? 1. Firm brake pedal. Stopping a car requires a ton of force, which would normally make the brake pedal incredibly hard. To help with that, older cars have brake boosters that use engine vacuum to essentially pull on the brake pedal and help the driver. However, vehicles with an ABS system rely on the ABS module to increase braking force using an integrated electric motor. If that motor stops working, the brake pedal will become 5 to 10 times harder than usual. This can be a huge problem if it happens while driving, and smaller drivers might struggle pressing the brake hard enough to stop the car in time. But as long as you are ready for it and the brakes still work, you can keep driving the car. Just be extra careful. To fix this problem, you can't just replace the ABS motor, but the entire ABS module. It's also important to mention that when the ABS module notices any faults with the system, it shuts down immediately. That results in the same firm brake pedal. But the cause could be a faulty wheel speed sensor, wiring damage, ABS control module, issues with the tires or wheels, and a big number of other causes. That means the symptom isn't conclusive. 2. ABS and traction control warning lights. Like all systems in a modern vehicle, the ABS is self-diagnosing and has its own fault codes. When the system notices any issues, it automatically triggers an ABS warning light and goes offline. If your vehicle is equipped with a traction control system, you will get a traction control warning light as well. That's because the two systems use the same sensors to function. But this symptom isn't conclusive either. The most common trigger for the ABS warning light is a faulty wheel speed sensor. That's why scanning the fault codes should be the first step in trying to diagnose the problem. It could also just be low brake fluid, so you can check that before you scan the fault codes. If that checks out, you can get fault codes scanned for free at any AutoZone and Napa store, or you can get an OBD2 Bluetooth adapter on Amazon and do it yourself. It's also worth mentioning that wrong tire sizes, low tire pressure, mismatched tires, faulty suspension components, electrical issues, and a whole slew of other issues can trigger the ABS warning light. And whenever the ABS light is triggered, you will also notice a firm brake pedal, and that the wheels are locking up under hard braking. 3. ABS triggering too soon. The ABS works in such a way that the brake pedal pushes brake fluid from the master cylinder into the ABS module. The ABS module then pushes brake fluid to each of the 4 wheels. If the wheel speed sensor notices a significant speed difference between some of the wheels, or that one of the wheels isn't spinning, it starts removing braking pressure from that wheel. It does so by pushing the brake fluid back into the master cylinder, and that translates to your brake pedal. You will notice the brake pedal is kicking back violently, and that's the ABS working. This is normal when you brake hard or when you are driving on slippery roads, but when the ABS module is faulty, it might start doing it even when you brake lightly. If you notice this, it's best to stop driving the car immediately. When this starts to happen, the braking power is significantly reduced, and in extreme cases, the car won't be braking at all. The chances of an accident are pretty much 100% if you drive over 20 miles per hour. It's also worth mentioning that this symptom isn't caused by a faulty wheel speed sensor. You also won't get an ABS warning light or anything else that indicates an ABS issue. 4. Brakes lock up under hard braking. The main purpose of the ABS system is to prevent the wheels from locking up when braking. If you already see an ABS warning light, it means the system is offline and is no longer working. The brake fluid then flows freely through the ABS module, and you essentially get a standard braking system. There is also a chance that the ABS module is broken in such a way that it thinks it's doing its job, when in fact it's inoperable. In such case, you won't get an ABS warning light, and the brake pedal will still be easy to press. But the wheels will still lock up. Driving a car in this condition isn't necessarily dangerous. After all, ABS wasn't mandatory until the early 2000s, but it is mandatory now, and it might be illegal to drive a car with a faulty ABS system. In case of a serious accident, this is something that will be uncovered through an investigation. You will then be liable for the accident regardless of whose fault it is. it's best to avoid driving the car until you get it inspected. There's also a chance that something other than the ABS module is faulty, but that's difficult to diagnose, so you will have to get a professional to take a look at the vehicle. 5. Speedometer not working. The ABS system relies on four-wheel speed sensors to operate. These sensors tell the ABS control module at what speed each of the wheels is spinning, and it then knows if one of them is locking up. A lot of the early cars that have ABS as standard equipment use one of these wheel speed sensors to send information to the speedometer. That eliminates the need for a fifth speed sensor and makes the vehicle simpler and cheaper. But the problem with this is that if the ABS control module notices any faults and shuts down the system, it shuts down all four-speed sensors. And since they are offline, the speedometer isn't getting any information about the moving speed. At the same time, the odometer will stop working as well, and if the speedometer isn't working for this reason, you will also have an ABS warning light. 6. Brakes not working. The brakes not working is an extremely uncommon symptom of a bad ABS module. The system is designed to leave the brakes operable independent of any of the ABS system components. But if the ABS control module doesn't notice a fault while the ABS module is faulty, you might find that the brakes are unresponsive. Even when this does happen, it's an intermittent issue. But since it's impossible to predict when the brakes will be unresponsive again, it's best to stop driving the car immediately. There is also a chance that something else is wrong with the brakes, like overheated brake fluid, old brake fluid, missing brake fluid, leaking brake lines, seized brake calipers, etc. The point is that a thorough and professional investigation is crucial. Cost to replace the ABS module. The ABS module is the most expensive ABS system component. A new replacement module at AutoZone will set you back at least $250, but a more realistic price is $500 or more. If you opt to get an OEM part, expect to pay $600 on the low end, and between $1,000 and $1,500 on average. If you drive a premium brand, a new ABS module can cost thousands. Buying a used ABS module from a low-mileage vehicle is a good option to get an OEM module for cheap, but make sure you get it from a trusted seller or buy it in person. A used ABS module can be as cheap as $100 and up to $200. Another option, and probably the best option, is to get a remanufactured ABS module. These are OEM units, plus you get a 1-year warranty in most cases. You can expect to pay around $250 to $400 for a remanufactured module, which is a more than fair price for what you are getting. As for labor, it usually takes between 1 and 3 hours to replace the ABS module. That's between $100 and $300, but can often be more depending on the complexity of the car. Unfortunately, replacing the ABS module is too complicated to explain. Plus, it can make the car dangerous to drive if you do something wrong, so it's best left to professionals. You can try and do it yourself if you find a good model-specific guide or if you have a workshop manual for your vehicle. Is the ABS module important? The ABS module is the most part of the ABS system. The ABS module diverts braking fluid pressure to each wheel individually, ensuring that they don't lock up and at the same time that they brake at maximum performance. If the ABS module fails, the ABS system stops working, and the brakes might stop working altogether as well. To summarize what we talked about in this video, most of the ABS module symptoms like an ABS and traction control warning light, a firm brake pedal, and wheels locking up when braking are shared with other ABS system faults. The only somewhat concrete symptoms that indicate a bad ABS module is the ABS triggering too soon, or that the brakes are unresponsive. But even with those symptoms, it's a very bad idea to buy a new ABS module and have it replaced before a professional inspects the vehicle and confirms the diagnosis. I hope this video helped. Thank you for watching.